Yes, sir.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Cordell?
Here.
Commissioner Conner?
Here.
Commissioner Fowler?
Here.
Commissioner Locklear?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Mayor Black?
Here. Let's bow for invocation. Dear God, our Father in heaven, we are once again grateful, thankful for the opportunity to be of service to the town of Ranlo. We thank you for your many blessings upon our town, the strength that you've given us, and we do pray as we make decisions this night that your blessings will be upon it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Adoption of agenda. Is everybody prepared with the agenda? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adopt it.
All right, Jamie makes a motion, second.
Second.
Katie, go ahead. All in favor? So carried. Approval of the January 14th, 2021 Board of Commissioners regular meeting minutes. Everybody got to look at those and approve? A couple eyes wasn't dotted, but that's okay. Be all right.
I'll
Got a
make
motion?
one.
Doug, got a motion? Doug makes a motion to accept them, got a second?
Second.
Effie, we'll let you have that one. All in favor? So carried. No attendees tonight?
None, Mr. Mayor. I've had several concerns about utility bills that they indicated at the time they wished to address the board, they were provided information, and I have not had any follow-up from them, so I have none scheduled tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Okay, so the next item is old business. Consideration of the Wooten Company's contract and construction service proposal. Has everybody got to look over it? Now, am I reading this correctly on the hourly?
I believe the hourly is not to exceed that amount. This would include the contract administration, and for the Wooten Company to be essentially the project manager for the company, or for the project. What they would do is they would put the bid packet together based on the specs that they have developed. They would put it out to bid, they would bring the bid to the board with recommendations, with suggestions, and then they would be on site. That's where that total comes in. They would be on site with the repairs of the project through its duration. This is the agreement that they have prepared for the project. I'm going to bring it to the board's consideration tonight. We did not reach clear consensus last month with how we wish to proceed with this project, as it is a very large capital improvement project. I wanted to bring it back before the board to see if you would like to explore options to move forward with it now, to move forward with options for funding for the next fiscal year. But the Wooten Company took the opportunity to present this, to send it to us. I think that it encompasses everything that we would need. I believe it would be 100 days, average 5 days a week over a 4-month period that the project would take. I would open it up to the board's discussion. If we did want to proceed with this, we could proceed contingent on securing funding for the project. That can be done in several different ways. The most practical way to fund the project in its totality would be take a percentage of the fund balance out of the PAL bill, the capital management account fund balance, and a percentage of the project out of the general fund, fund balance, capital management account, and then seek financing towards the rest. I can certainly look at making those arrangements, bring that back to the board at the March 4th meeting. The board could reach consensus tonight to accept this agreement contingent on funding being approved at the March 4th meeting. Made the necessary arrangements, advertised as so to give the board the ability to adopt this by putting it out that we were requesting proposals for contract administration and contract management. So I would open this up to the board for discussion. Like I said, we didn't reach clear consensus, so I would request board's guidance on how to proceed with this.
So, how is the road now? Is it dangerous at this point? I know we talked last time about school buses possibly falling into a hole and injuring children.
Right. As Mr. Harvin stated last month, the road is of the utmost concern. There are numerous issues that there's really no way to predict how long they will last, where the weak spots are. We know that the infrastructure under the road is compromised, that it is a dangerous situation. As Mr. Harvin stated last month, it's one of the worst roads that he's ever observed or had any type of studies done on, given the age of the road. It is a dangerous situation, Mr. Mayor, for certain.
Those cavities that run under the road that's opened up, that
Yeah.
no dirt's underneath the asphalt.
So, it's maybe a good time to bid it. There's a lot of construction companies that's looking for work right now.
Yes, sir.
I feel like it would be, now that we know how bad the issue is and that the rain is continuing and continuing and continuing, it's only gonna make it worse. I think it would be, unwise to put it off.
I agree.
Okay, so do we have a motion to, go ahead, with the plans as follows?
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead with the plans as follows.
All right, can we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, seconds, all in favor? So carried.
And this vote tonight will commit to the Wooten Company being the project manager. At any point during the project, if the board is not comfortable with proceeding, or if there's an issue, we haven't committed to anything other than agreeing to Wooten Company to proceed as project manager to prepare the bid and to make the necessary arrangements to move forward with step two. Essentially, we're just agreeing to go to step one.
Okay, yes, the Wooten Company, being the project manager. Oversee and make sure it's, put in correctly this time.
And then who will oversee them? Who will follow up with them to make sure that they're doing their job?
Right, that would be the town's responsibility. They'll be working hand in hand with town staff, with public works. They'll just be the full-time devoted engineer on the project to oversee it and to draft everything that would be needed for the.
So we're saying Jason?
Jason would be in close contact with Slate. We've had a good working relationship with the Wooten Company over the past 6 months as we've worked on this project. I feel confident that they will be a good partner, and given their reputation and their expertise in this area, will be, very, very beneficial to the town.
And they'll have no vested interest in the construction. They're just there to make sure that the construction company does their job.
And they are working for us, so their job would be to look after the best interest of the town. And as far as this amount, I'll move forward with Powell bill, if that's okay with the board, moving forward with the initial funding from the Powell bill, fund balance, if that is okay with the board.
Can we use stormwater too?
I can look and see. We do not have as healthy a fund balance in stormwater. It's not allocated separately like Powell bill is, so I don't know right off exactly what portion of our general fund is designated as stormwater. I know we have nearly $400,000 in Powell bill, in the Powell bill in the Powell bill fund balance in capital management. So I feel confident that this would be, an appropriate expense to go there.
Okay, next item on the agenda is review of the revised fee schedule and ordinance review for bulk and excess garbage. Closure number 3.
And Mr. Mayor, this is an issue that we've been talking about for 6 months or so now. This is just a draft ordinance. I wanted to bring this to the board to get your thoughts, to get your input, to see how you feel about the wordage, to see how you feel about the schedule. It essentially encompasses what we've talked about the past few months with moving bulk pickup to once a month. And if any person would like for an additional pickup to be scheduled, there would be a fee associated with that based on weight and based on what it is, if it's bulk or white goods. If it's white goods, an additional collection rate would be at $25. If it's excess household trash or bulk that is more or less than 50 pounds, it would be $15, and if it's more than 50 pounds, it would be $25. We would still continue once a month with picking up any and all of these things that are left for the town, but then if a resident wanted an additional pickup, it would fall under these parameters. And I've also added on there a charge for a third garbage can. Right now, we provide 2 garbage cans for $12 a month, or 1 trash can at $9 a month. I wanted to bring that to the board for consideration, that we allow a third garbage can at that $9 a month rate if people would like to utilize that option. I put on here that this would begin in April. I think that would give us time to discuss this tonight, to make any amendments that need to be made, hold a public hearing on the ordinance portion of this, because this would amend section 4-2004E of the Code of Ordinance. So it would require a public hearing, and there are, of course, guidelines that we have to follow with that. So what I'm presenting tonight is this draft ordinance, the amendment to the fee schedule, and the revised utility billing policy. If it's the board's consensus, we'll set a public hearing. We'll advertise that this policy is going into effect in April on the March water bill and the April water bill, as so to give people ample notice, and then finalize the logistics and finalize the adoption of the ordinance at a public hearing in March, if that's the board's desire.
So an option that the citizens still have would be, don't we offer the
once a year, once a year, I believe, that it's offered for free.
Did that, I think they have to pay the tipping fees, is that correct?
Not the first time.
Not the first time, okay.
Any other time they use it after they get it the free time, they have to pay the tipping fee.
Would that need to be reflected in this ordinance, or is it reflected somewhere else?
That's really a utility policy, there's no ordinance that speaks to the usage of the trailer that I'm familiar with. We can certainly codify that, we can include that as a subpart to this ordinance, that is an option for the residents once a year, and then on an additional tipping fee.
That's just something we provide as a courtesy, really.
Yes, sir.
I don't want, maybe necessarily codify, because then we might be obligated to.
It's more of it's a policy, it's a practice that we have here, it isn't codified in law.
Would this have anything to do with the month of cleanup?
Yes, ma'am. As we spoke last month, I was going to bill April as being the month, March, April, as a month to clean up, to clean out everything that you have, put it out March into
So
April.
is that just one time that they can do that?
It would be each week from now until April 9th that they could put it out, and then we could look at next spring or even in the fall. Gastonia does bulk pickup, in the spring and fall, anything that you want, so we could have maybe a month in the fall that's a clean out month, once in the fall and once in the spring. That could certainly coincide with the once per month pickup for bulk and white goods.
My question has to do with electronics. I know that we're not supposed to dispose of them. Is that in the ordinances elsewhere, or is that something we need to add?
Yes,
to this?
that is in the ordinance, I don't have it in front of me, but electronics, things of the like, there are prohibited items in the ordinances that we're not permitted to pick up.
Yeah, there's a special place at the landfill that you have to take those to, or at one of the green box sites.
Right, and I knew it was more expensive, I just wanted to make sure that we had that reflected so that people don't put their TV out and get mad.
Electronics, shingles, building material, paint, things of the like that.
What about refrigerators and,
That'd be a white good, we would pick that up once a
Okay.
month.
Okay. Goodwill will accept your computers, printers, things like that, Goodwill. They refurbish them to help with their training.
Oh, good. That's good to know, we get a lot of questions about that, I'll
Yeah.
certainly refer people. to
Goodwill.
Hallelujah. Okay, do we need to make we have a motion on this?
Just consensus to set a public hearing for the March meeting would work well, and at that time, we'll open it up for a public hearing and finalize all of the specific details of it, I think would be fine for now, Mr. Mayor.
So we do have a consensus then. All right, okay, let's move on with it. And, item A, presentation of the ordinance proposal prohibiting on-the-street parking.
And this is an issue that Commissioner Moore and I spoke at length, particularly with an issue that recently presented itself with a fire truck, right, Mr. Moore, that was not able to get through without having to press
Yes.
through some of the vehicles in the Mountain View, Woodside community. The section 134 of the Ranlo Code of Ordinances prohibits on-street parking on, I believe it's Long Street and Hill are the only two places. I'm proposing, again, a draft and an amendment that would need a public hearing. I've listed all of the streets in town on this ordinance. There are some discrepancies in the ordinance book where streets are incorrectly cited or incorrectly spelled, and there's some discrepancies there. So this would provide a correction for all of the streets be appropriately named, and then we would note which ones would not be allowed to be parked on. I've highlighted in red the streets of the most concern based on conversations that Ms. Moore and I had, and some other feedback that I've gotten from town departments. We can do a complete prohibition of parking on the street. We can do a time, place, and manner restriction where you are not allowed to park from, for example, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We can limit it to 2-hour parking. We could work towards an overnight parking pass that we could work on, that we could facilitate. Really tonight, I'm seeking the board's guidance, your opinion and thoughts on the matter to see how you want to proceed with this, because the HOA reached out to me a couple weeks ago about a similar problem. They're having difficulty enforcing the no parking because it's supposed to be a town ordinance. So I would defer to the board's guidance, wishes, and direction on that.
In the past, we had signs installed in the Mountain View subdivision, and there was no parking over there at all except for holidays, Christmas. And I think they actually had made a parking area over there designated for overflow in one of the lots. But as far as not having anything, I think there's some stuff in that we can go ahead and revise.
And we would definitely have to have no parking signs installed throughout these areas in order for this to be enforceable.
Right.
And we would need to determine, and we can do that as well in the public hearing, how we wish to enforce. If we want to cite, we do have the authority in the North Carolina General Statutes to cite $50 fine, or we can adopt a subsection of the ordinance that would allow for towing. That would be probably the most extreme of the two measures, but we could have a tiered strike policy, strike one a fee, strike two a fee, and three towing.
Yeah.
So that's certainly something we can, could consider as well in the formal adoption of the ordinance. Are there any other streets that jump out to any of you that would be a particular concern to you, or that you would like to see as indicated for a no parking area?
Park Drive was, I think, one designated, and also Ridge.
Parking
I
area?
think Ridge goes into Wilmot.
And I have a concern about over, in the Mountain View or so, if we have no street parking, and I've seen it already, so I know it's going to probably get worse, is blocking sidewalks. So that's a concern of mine.
Absolutely. And we can underscore the importance of that. We do have an ordinance that speaks to that, not allowing being parked on these sidewalks. It has, I've seen the same thing, Mr. Fowler, it's become more of an issue here of late, with people parking on the sidewalks, parking half on the sidewalk, half on the grass, half on the road. So we can underscore that, and we can even revise that ordinance to be updated to directly link to these streets, so that we'll have double enforceability essentially under the code ordinance.
I feel like for some of these streets, especially the really narrow ones like Boulder, Everest, I don't know that allowing 2-hour parking would necessarily be the best idea, just because who's gonna police it? If we
Right.
have 2 officers on patrol in the entire town on a given night, there's no way that they're gonna be able to go through, you know, every so often and mark times for when cars are there, and then you're still gonna have the same issue of cars parking across from one another, and I don't know that it necessarily fixes anything. And I don't know that, there are a couple of streets on here like, Maple and Walnut, which have parking, have ample room for parking.
Yeah, we have street side parking, but that's put in there for that.
Right, so,
The roads are wide enough, and then the paved area on the side is for our parking.
right, so, I don't know that there's necessarily, like, I don't necessarily wanna put every road on this list, you know, as a no parking
Sure.
ever road, but, there's certainly some that there needs to be.
Our biggest
some
issues with the parking, for say in Mountain View or somewhere like that, is double parking. When people across the street park on the side of the road, and then one other neighbor across the street parks in the same spot, you can't hardly get a fire truck through there. We done drug a car around through there going to a call because we couldn't get to the call, and it was a cardiac arrest call, so we had to take the extreme measure and do it. But if they would stagger the cars the way they park, it wouldn't be so bad.
Well,
And
and I
another thing is parking in front of fire hydrants.
Yeah.
They do that down there too, you know, and we try to stop and tell them, you know, hey, you can't park in front of fire hydrant. So,
And the issue that I ran into coming in tonight was there was an Amazon delivery truck, and they were stopped delivering, and then on the other side, staggered a little ways, there was, a van parked fully in the street. And when I went to go around, the Amazon truck started moving forward, it's an accident waiting to happen.
Absolutely. And, this draft amendment, the spirit of which I drafted it was not to include all these streets. The ones that are highlighted are the ones that I thought were of the most concern, and then I wanted to at least give you all the opportunity to see all of them, to see if something may, strike you as being issued. One thing that comes to mind when I look at this list is a lot of these dead-end streets like Neely, Booker, Redland. That's particularly challenging. They're building 2 new houses, or they built 2 new houses at the bottom of Redland, and I've been out there, to look at them several times, and it's impossible.
Yes.
When people are parked on both sides of that street, a guy actually had to come out and move his vehicle so I could get out once I got to the end of Redland to get back out, and I mean, that is particularly troubling when it comes to, emergency traffic and the like.
So will Billy Full right away probably need to be as well, because of emergency vehicles?
For parking on the street,
Not really.
on former Robin Avenue, Billy Ray Fulbright. Do you think that would be appropriate, Ms. Moore, or would that be advantageous?
Yeah, that'd
for
be
you?
fine. I know right now we park there at the fire department for training when we have so many cars there. They have parked on the fire department side of the street, parked there. But yeah, no parking would be great there, cause we've just got permission today from the Mule Meridian to use their parking lot. When our parking lot gets full, we can park over there, so yeah, that'd be fine.
And that's what I was wondering, if we had overflow parking in Ranlo, you know, I'm having a big party on Friday, I can't put 5 cars in my driveway. Is there a place where people can go park, and you know, you ride back with me to my house, and I take you back over there? Cause there is no, in these neighborhoods, the houses are getting closer, they don't have the space. It'd be great if we had overflow parking
I mean,
somewhere.
that'd be something the HRAs need to get together and build one. I mean, y'all pay an HRA fee, and what is it going for? I mean.
Well, it's not enough for that.
Right.
Then we don't pay that much, you know what I'm saying, to keep that going.
Like Spencer Heights, that empty lot, when you go into, right beside your house on the right, who owns it?
It's for sale, you wanna buy it?
No.
Okay, it's for sale, but, the owners are, down in Florida, they're trying to sell it, but you can't buy that, cause I looked into buying that lot, you can't buy that lot without buying the lot in the area in the very back of the neighborhood, they're combined.
Mhm.
And they want like over $300,000. So it's not, you
You
can't
said
just,
the area in the back of the neighborhood down,
like you're
Grand
going,
Over?
like you're going into Poston Park, you know, it butts in the.
that
Poston-
whole area that they're on it too?
That they said that they were
Oh, wow.
gonna put those townhomes there,
Yeah.
that was the
Oh,
initial
yeah.
plan.
Mm.
They attached the two, you can't buy one without the other.
No.
So, I wish we did have some space.
What about the lodge? Would that be an option there, park at the lodge?
I don't know if the town of Ranlo would let us go back
I
there.
mean, if it's
And-
not,
or-
if it's not, I mean, there's,
Right.
I've never really seen it completely full, even when people use it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there wouldn't be an issue with the lodge or the, parking
Well,
lot here at
yeah,
Town Hall.
But well, I was thinking about the parking lot here at Town Hall,
Mhm.
especially now since the fire department's moved.
Right,
What about
Absolutely.
here, what about here?
and it may be that we just have a simple waiver sign that we will, of course, keep an eye on it, but not responsible for any damages that may incur with the vehicle being left there. I mean,
Carpool.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
no long-term parking.
Right, no long-term
I was
parking, no
thinking-
tractor trailers or trucks. things like
Maybe even the churches wouldn't mind us using their
Yeah.
parking lot.
And that would be even closer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be closer.
Yeah.
So we can have some, you know what I'm saying, someplace.
Would you touch base with Preacher Simmons?
Yeah.
I mean, that
This
would be
is-
a great one.
This is not to take away from anybody, this is to help people, you know, if we can't get to them to help them, then don't do no good. If the garbage truck can't get through to pick the garbage up, don't do no good. School bus can't get through to get the kids, don't do no good, you know.
Right.
that. And that's a
The
good point.
kids run between the cars too, you know, they're parked,
Yeah,
their kids
the
run
kids
out,
don't
you
run out
can't even
front.
see them.
We've had kids get run over down there and had to fly them out from Mountain View, so. They go out in front of that car, like I say,
So maybe if we could offer alternatives, you
Yeah,
know,
we need to do that something.
yeah. Cause it's bad.
Well, too, though, I've seen, you know, you go by and the garage door's open and the man cave's there, you know, maybe they need to clean up the man cave and put the car in the garage.
That's not what that's for. It's not meant for a car.
Oh.
Of course not. That's where we put your storage. That's what garages are for. But I understand what you're saying though. Most people don't use their garages for vehicles, yeah.
I will, edit this list to account for the changes that we discussed tonight, and we can also schedule a public hearing at the March meeting, the same time we talk about the, light goods and bulk pickup. And if there are any changes that the board would like to see made at the public hearing, we can make those as well at the time of adoption. And we can also look at having this on a similar schedule as the bulk and white good pickup, as so to give people ample notice, as so to let everyone know that this is coming down the time, to give them plenty of, plenty of time to make necessary accommodations and other arrangements. If that's the consensus.
We do have a consensus, the board? Right. Next item on the agenda is the ratification of the town's stormwater management plan for a new MS4 permit.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I emailed this to the board a couple of weeks ago, and it was included in the packet, but it was quite a lengthy document, over 40 pages, so I did not print for those of you that requested a hard copy. It is going to be submitted to the Department of Environmental Quality to ensure that we are in compliance with our stormwater management plan. If you'll recall, we adopted an ordinance noting our deficiencies after the last audit late last summer, and part of the ordinance required that we would develop an updated stormwater management plan. The last one was signed by Mayor Clemmer in 2010 that was submitted to the state. So the state has took a preliminary review of the management plan that I submitted. There were no issues that were immediately noted. There are a few other issues that we have to address, but I will need the board's ratification of the proposed stormwater management plan as so to have it adopted and have those minutes and that action submitted alongside the stormwater management plan. Our permit, our MS4 permit is good through the end of this year, but it usually is a lengthy process to get it renewed, so it will take the better part of next year to finalize all those details. So I would look for a motion to ratify the town's stormwater management plan for a new MS4 permit tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, do we have such a motion?
Make such a motion.
Effie, and a second by
I'll say.
Doug. Okay, all in favor? So carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 10, preliminary budget discussions, goal setting for the mayor and commissioners for the fiscal 2022 year.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, it is budget time, so I wanted to just briefly recap and review the budget schedule that we have set. I have a special meeting called for Thursday, March 4th. That's when we'll be looking at large capital outlay requests from department heads moving forward, working and looking at numbers and figures for the first time for some of these projects that we're looking at undertaking. At the March 11th meeting, I will bring back a update on where we were working with the board's input, working with department heads' input at a really a first look at how the budget's shaping up. At the Thursday, April 8th meeting, that's a regular meeting, I hope we will have the first budget draft presented for your consideration to review, to look at, to be able to make any tweaks necessary. And then May 13th will be when the budget message will be presented for the board, and that will be at our regular meeting in May. And then in June, we have a public hearing and the adoption of the budget ordinance, which will occur here at Town Hall. So those are the proposed dates moving forward.
April what? You talk too fast.
Oh, I'm sorry. These are all at the regular meeting,
Oh, okay.
except the one on March 4th. March 4th will be a special meeting,
Gotcha.
and then everything else will fall in line with our normal second Thursday schedule. Ms. Locklear, I apologize.
Okay.
And I would ask tonight if there are any major projects that you would like for me to review, to price out, to get quotes on, to have you to look at March 4th. I'll be glad to look at anything or review or get anything prepared that you all would like to see that may be of particular interest in this upcoming budget. We'll get together on the 4th to look at some of these larger costs, but if there's anything that comes to mind that you'd like for me to review and during them, you can let me know tonight. You can send me a message, of course, call me anytime, and glad to get those figures and numbers and information prepared for you for the 4th meeting.
Are we planning on bringing on a rec director?
That was my question.
We certainly can provide funding for the rec director position. We can keep that funding in the budget as things begin to open back up in a post-COVID world. Ideally, would like to have someone in that position to be able to facilitate the events that we have. Difficult to know what the spring and summer is going to look like.
Yeah.
For now, we will continue to provide funding in the rec budget for that, and then as things begin to normalize, we can discuss advertising moving forward with finding a rec director, and it may be that we retweak some of the responsibilities that they're partially rec and then partially designated to other projects, other issues that we may have going on. So we will certainly provide funding if that is something the board is agreeable to, with providing funding for a salary for a recreation.
Some of the other towns are already opening up. They're gonna be doing fall seasons, and they're starting the application process.
Really? Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll look into that. I wasn't aware of that. Mr. Mayor.
I know we got some stuff in the lodge, like the AC, the heating up there.
That was my second question.
Yes.
Y'all are reading my mind.
I was thinking we might
Well,
want to budget for
mine
that.
was the lodge renovation.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have something I would like to be considered for budget. First off, this is in regards to the garden park. We still have not put, a sign up for that park. I understand with everything going on, COVID now, but that's something that we still need to budget, a sign, something for the park. But I'm going to pass this out because, our, town manager was gracious enough to submit a letter. Did you pass? I'll let you pass
Just
that.
pass it around.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And what he did was, for the last 3 years, we have been trying to have Mrs. Beatrice Garden recognized at the MLK Memorial here in Gastonia for her contribution of donating that land and having a park there on Redland Street. For 3 years. You can keep that with you. Okay. And for the last 3 years, she's not made the cut, okay? Though they're extremely interested in it, even down to our African American Museum that they have over at Firestone, they recognize her there. Her contribution by donating the land for the park, there. They've recognized it in the museum. They've actually brought kids out here to see the little park. And if you all haven't been down there, that park looks good. I mean, it's not a lot of space, but it was joyous for me to go down there and see kids out there playing on the swings and stuff. If I only had a before and after, it's a big difference. It's come a long way. Thankful to that grant that we got from the county for our parks. Some of the money went there to fix it up, and they did a great job. Jason Green did an awesome job with that park, and so proud of it. But my heart, as you all know, is with Warlick Academy. I cannot talk enough about how proud I am for the staff there and the kids that are coming out of Warlick Academy. This year, they have 10 young people that will be graduating. 2 graduated in December, came out early. And they have 10 that they see graduating for May 26th, which that may change, but that's the date that they have right now, tentative for graduation. These kids have worked hard. A lot of these kids have had a bad rap, but they're coming out of bad situations. Some on group homes, foster care. Poverty is high. Most of these kids are living below poverty guidelines to the point that they have a laundromat where the kids and the parents can come and wash their clothes there. But this staff is dedicated to these kids. They have a lot of counselors there. DSS has moved a lot of counselors over there. They're working with these kids. Last year they graduated, with the largest graduating class, was either 22 or 23 students graduated. That was big for Warlick. And that these kids, when they're given the option to go back to their home schools, they don't want to go back. They want to finish at Warlick. They're comfortable there, they're accepted there, they're not being judged there. And I think that's awesome. And it's awesome that as a town, that we can have a Warlick Academy. These kids are coming from Gaston County, all the schools, Bessemer City, I mean, they're coming from everywhere. Forest View, Hunter Huss, Ashbrook. So we have like the education hospital of Gastonia right now, right there at Warlick. And these kids have a lot of tenacity. They're doing all they can do to get their education, given the odds that are against them. And I would love, as a town of Ranlo, if we could embrace the hard work that these students do, coming out of these situations, most of the majority of these kids cannot afford secondary education. I mean, they can't afford, I don't think secondary is what you call it, they can't afford a college education, right? And I think that if we could set the bar high for them, that they can succeed if we as the town of Ranlo recognize them, recognize their hard work, and I would love, since the city of Gastonia did not recognize Ms. Garden's contribution, that's okay. We as the town of Ranlo, we can recognize our own heroes, our own people that fight hard and love Ranlo. She had 9 children. None of her children can go to school at Warlick because it was segregated. They actually went to the corner store, where they have the repair shop. That's where they would wait for the bus to be bused miles away from a school that was right there within 150 yards from her house? But that's okay. I would love for my commissioners to support me in this endeavor, is if we could establish a Beatrice Garden Scholarship for a student at Warlick. It's Black History Month, but it ain't even about that. They can be green, blue, purple, whatever. We just want a great kid. Because all races go to this school. So it's not even about her being black. It's not about that at all. I would love if we could offer a scholarship to help push these kids to keep going forward and getting a good education after high school. And so I would like to make a motion that we establish a Beatrice Garden Memorial Scholarship, I don't know how we could word that, to go to one of the seniors at Warlick to help them. And this is up for discussion, but I think we can do things right, and we can do it in the right way. I thought at first 500, 1,000. Then I'm like, Reverend, what can you do with $1,000 to go to college today? That's a joke. That's like 2 or 3 books now. So I will aim high. I would love for us to start at $7,500 scholarship for the Beatrice Garden Scholarship for a Warlick Academy student to continue their education after they leave high school.
And that could be for a higher education or say trade.
It can be trade.
It can be skilled.
They actually told me that they had 2 students that are seeking to go on into the military after high school. I had made an appointment to meet with Mr., I want to say his name was Sparks. He is one of the guidance counselors there that works on the scholarship committee to assist students. And like it was told to me, once you get the money, then we can sit down and we can twerk it, who gets it, what it takes to earn this. We can do that, but first you gotta know what you're dealing, what you have, what you're bringing to the table first. But they're willing to work, they're excited, and would love for us to support these kids, because they really produce some great kids there. They've changed a lot of lives at that school.
So you're saying put that in the budget, we're talking about the budget now.
Exactly. I would like to make a motion that we support a scholarship for Miss Beatrice Garden. Her youngest son is just turned 75 years old, her youngest son. And would they be so proud to present or, discuss this or share this for their family, for the contributions that their mother did in the town of Ranlo. So I'm asking my fellow commissioner for your support on this scholarship.
So this would just be to start it, it's not to set the guidelines or the amount or anything like that right now, right?
Well, I'm hoping that we can start with an amount.
Okay.
And then work with the school. They would help us to establish how do we go, the stipulations on what it takes for someone to be awarded this and how they would do a payout for this to assist the student.
If we could somehow get it to where it is a tax credit on, and get businesses to donate to it. And also, we could do fundraisers also to add to it. You know, we could have a base amount that the town puts into it, but then we could also have a full
That's
town
right.
fundraiser so everybody could be a part of it. And then we could look at also, individual companies, donating money to it, and it would be a tax credit. And yeah, that happens.
That's a great idea.
We do have children from Ranlo that go there too.
So what, 7,500 is in your motion, or?
So you want him to put that in this coming year's budget, is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't think we have enough time though.
Well, that's what we were talking about, things for the budget.
Yeah,
So, yeah, just point of clarification, Commissioner Connor, the motion that you are making would be for $7,500 scholarship. Would this be as a budget amendment to the current year budget, as so to have it available for the May graduation, or beginning July 1 for the upcoming fiscal year budget? Are you seeking to have the scholarship available now, or
I would like to have
next year?
available now for this May,
So, okay.
for this graduating class.
So the motion on the floor would be for an amendment to the fiscal year 21 budget.
Is there
Should-
money in the budget to make an amendment? Jonathan?
I don't have a copy of it in front of me. There is money that has been saved in certain line items where we have, not used the funds that have been expended.
Could we take from rec, maybe?
That was the first thing that came to mind, ball team expenses that would not be utilized in this year's budget. I feel confident that there should be over $10,000 in discretionary funding in that particular department that would be at the board's discretion to allocate as a budget amendment. Funds that have been approved in this current year budget that could be rerouted or allocated to such projects as this. There are just two thoughts that I would like to make on the matter. Number one, if the town is to develop this scholarship, I believe legally, and I will certainly run this by Mr. Wyndham, we would be in the best position to code this or to list this as a civic contribution to be used for the purpose of furthering higher education in the memory of Beatrice Garden, a civic contribution to Warlick. That way, that would shield the town from any liability from the selection process, to give Warlick and Gaston County Schools the autonomy to decide what type of criteria, what type of parameters are put into place for the selection of the recipient for the scholarship. And then if we do seek to engage in fundraising, as the mayor indicated, which I think is a great idea, that we partner with a local nonprofit, whether it's the United Way or the Chamber of Commerce, and have those funds funneled through a third party, as so to shield the town from any type of liability from the financial aspect of it. So, just to recap, Commissioner Connor, and please correct me if I'm wrong, making a motion to amend the fiscal year 21 budget to provide for a $7,500 scholarship to be made available in May of 21 in the memory of Beatrice Garden, and that would be in the form of a civic contribution to Warlick Academy, with the understanding that those funds will be used for that purpose. Is that correct? Okay.
That's great. And I would, also like to reach out to the news so they can see what we're doing and how, since I cannot get Gastonia, well, I can't say that, since they have recognized Miss Garden with the African American Museum here, and they're bringing schools out here, they're talking about her contribution, but to have a scholarship like that under her name would be awesome for Gastonia to know what we're doing and our contribution back to a Gaston County school that is right here in Ranlo, that we're supporting Warlick Academy and their students' college, careers, whatever, continuing education.
So this would just be for continuing education,
Yeah, that's
trade
what,
school?
I don't want it to be just kids that go to higher education. Cause I don't know what
Right.
those who seek higher education, what the ratio is at Warlick, but.
Yeah, she told me that they, cause they have, she said they had 3 or 4 that do the early college at Gaston. and they're already getting credits for attending Gaston College. But then she mentioned that they know there's just two that are already, they're just ready for their dates to come up so they can go into the military as soon as they graduate. So these students are making plans after high school, but I guess once you mentioned, once Gaston County School knows that we're offering this, then they can make all the guidelines and how they go about dispersing these funds and who's eligible for the scholarship. So we wouldn't be liable for any of that.
Correct, yes, ma'am. That would be, my preference on how to, logistically make this happen. And what we can do, with Commissioner Connor's motion, once there's a second and a vote, I can take care of all the legalese, draft an overview of what we've discussed tonight. I'll reach out to the superintendent of Gaston County, let them, make them aware of what we're doing, and then I can bring that to the board on March 4th at our budget planning meeting for final review and approval. But if the board would like to move forward with allocating this funding tonight, we can certainly do that, to have it spoken for, to be able to move forward with the with an announcement and with the draft of the scholarship. So we can certainly move forward with that. Commissioner Connor has made the motion.
I would like to say something.
Sure.
As a kid who had to join the military in order to be able to afford college, I think it's important that we invest in our community. And, a lot of people take that for granted. They take the ability to be able to go and do a job, whether it's skilled labor or otherwise. And, so I think that anything that we can do to help give a kid a hand up, especially the ones who are working so hard to reach that goal and to make, after society tells them that they're nothing, to go out and try and make something of themselves is probably one of the highest responsibilities of a society. So I'd like to second your motion.
Thank you, Katie.
All in favor?
Thank you.
So carried.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent, wonderful.
All right,
Charge.
next item is the town manager's report. Mayor, commissioner comments, I reckon that covered that, and
I have just a few things, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, I wanted to thank Integra for their COVID testing that they undertook here in town. We did over 120 tests that day, so I was very, very pleased with the outcome, very appreciative for the police department and public works for helping direct traffic that day and for ensuring that everything went smoothly. Integra was very appreciative, and I am appreciative for the opportunity to work with them to get that done. On that same note, I am working with the Red Cross for next month to hold 2 blood drives here in town. I've been in contact with their office. We're still working on dates, but we're looking at having one in the morning and then one in the evening. Hopefully we'll be able to have those at the lodge with the appropriate protocols put into place for COVID, but more information about that will be forthcoming, but I wanted to bring it to your attention tonight and make public aware of it in case the drive does occur before our next meeting. We'll certainly be publicizing that and letting everyone know when the blood drive will occur, but I'm very excited for Ranlo to have the opportunity to partnership with the Red Cross to give that opportunity to people in our town and in the neighboring community. I also want to give a special thanks again to Ranlo Police Department. They've been working very hard over this last month. I've made it a habit of this meetings to give a comparison of the numbers, and last month they ran 573 calls compared to 277 they did the year before. So those numbers continue to be up, continue to be almost double. So I really appreciate the hard work that they have done, particularly in light of current situations with COVID, with shortages in the department. They have done an excellent job, and I appreciate that. As I do with all employees here with the town, we currently have 3 employees that are out due to COVID-related matters. So we are really all hands on deck, and everyone has really stepped up and done an excellent job. So I appreciate all of their help. I appreciate the commitment, dedication, and the extra time that so many employees have put in over the last month. I wanted to bring your attention to the designs that we have been working on, a project the advisory board's been working on in conjunction with a local marketing consulting company. First of all, they gave us a revised, updated seal which, I think looks really great. It takes our former seal, modernizes it a bit, and really, captures the spirit of which our original seal was. That was one of the first projects they have been working on, and also they've been working on like a brand logo that we wanted to unveil to, bring, fresh perspective, fresh ideas into marketing for Ranlo. This, before you have 4 designs, they're all similar in nature. The advisory board decided this was the design that they liked best out of 3 that we looked at. I wanted to bring it to you for input to see how you all feel about this. We still have 2 rounds of editing with the consulting company that we're working with to see if you think we're on the right track, if you think the advisory board's on the same page as you guys are, to see if anything really sticks out with these designs. The idea was to capture Spencer Mountain in the background of some of these. The marketing company came up with the phrase "threaded in history." The advisory board really thought highly of that phrase. It really pays homage to the mill heritage that we have, and it reflects that we are, again, built with pride as our original logo, original phrase, catchphrase encompass. So I would welcome any input that you guys have on this, from really anything, from color to font to design, and would like to take that back to the marketing company to continue working with them on an updated, or really our first, I guess you could say, logo or branding efforts.
Yeah, the upper left corner I like the best, and, incorporate the colors of red, white, and blue.
I agree, Mr. Mayor. I would like to see some type of red encompass in here. The blue is nice, but I think we need a little more of a pop.
I love the way they put the mountain in the background, on the bottom too. Well, yeah,
So,
I like that.
and it
On
was
the
my
mountain
comment.
on the top
You
left.
like
On
that
the top
too?
left, I would like it to be
Yeah.
more looking like Spencer Mountain, like the bottom ones, because that mountain,
Yeah.
the top don't look like Ranlo to me.
And the half tower on top of it.
What about threaded in history? How do you guys feel about that?
I like that, it's
I like the
historical.
Nice.
I feel like if we're going for a very simple logo, something to put on a flag, for instance, we're gonna wanna keep it really simple. I like the phrase in, maybe promotional material, we could put it on, flyers and stuff.
Sure.
But, as far as being,
Yeah.
front and center, I think it might look a little busy.
And I agree with you, Commissioner Cordell. I really like the bottom left as just a logo, as just a picture of this is Ranlo. We have Spencer Mountain, which is of course iconic for Ranlo. And if we could add color to this, be it the mountain being green, water tower being white, with that red on the star similar, or red and blue similar to the original star, I think that would be very fitting for just a quick snapshot picture of Ranlo, and then maybe on some of our marketing designs, flyers, website, we could have the full effect, but then just really showcasing on that small logo, mountain, water tower, built with pride star.
I wonder if, maybe inside that second circle, we
That's
can
what I was
put
gonna say.
the actual, like, the sky color and the mountain being green, and then the tower being white,
Mhm.
and then the star red, the same red as is on the original seal.
What did you say the advisory board said?
They really liked the threaded in history
I do too.
tagline.
I
Everyone
do
seemed to
too.
like that last week when we met.
I
They,
like to build with pride.
Yeah.
I like to build
Yeah.
with pride.
Yeah.
I do.
We had 3 designs that we looked at. This was the one that it was the clear winner, that they liked.
The
This,
threaded in history.
well, they liked this design with the water tower with Ranlo in there. We had another one that we looked at, I actually think I have it here, that, kind of had like a, yarn thread here, where it was threaded in history.
Okay.
That, they looked at that one,
That's where the phrase comes.
right, the phrase came from here. We merged those 2 ideas together. We merged this concept with, threaded in history. They discussed it at length. It wasn't the clear winner. They liked the town of Ranlo with the water tower and the, mountain in the back. Well, the original concept didn't have the mountain in the back. We did some revisions and brought that in, so.
Are they gonna put this on the water tower?
We looked at that option. They thought that, they sent that to me on there. It wasn't very clear when you put it on there, what it said. Could look at expanding the water tower, making it, larger. Or are you talking about the design of the water tower itself?
No, just the,
That,
yeah, Where they gonna put this on the water
On
tower?
the actual
On
tower.
the actual tower,
Uh-huh.
that would be a matter for the board,
Oh.
be determinative on what you all would like to see on there. That was one of the purposes.
We
of
haven't
it.
cleared the last painting yet.
Right. And it could
Still
be,
have like 6 cars that I gotta get cleaned.
and an idea that, I floated around is instead of having the actual seal, instead of paint, a large, industrial sized decal sticker of perhaps just the star itself up there could be an option, but of course, I would welcome any input, ideas, or, suggestions that you all have on that issue. But I'm glad to hear you say that, Mr. Mayor, about the, color. I would like to see some other options with color in that as well, with this particular design.
If you put too much up there, riding by, you're not gonna be able to see it all. So I think we need to keep it simple. But that's why we got the advisory board, why don't we go with the advisory board?
Okay,
But
we can,
That's
Let them
that's
make their
my,
decision. Let them make their decision.
that's why we got them, let them make it and then bring it back to us and
sure.
say this is
We've got a
what-
meeting scheduled for March. I'll work with the consulting company to get some revised versions of this rendering, and I will put on the advisory board's agenda discussion of next steps forward with, improvements, decal painting of the water tower, if that's agreeable to you. Anything else
I
on,
like building project.
on the rendering?
I do too, I like that, build with pride. This is a proud town. This is a proud town.
Family town.
Okay, any commissioners with anything?
I would like to say that, I missed my last MPO meeting. It's, they do it virtual. And, I had another meeting at that same time virtual. And what I realized from that experience is that I would love if I had somebody I could call that could go for me if I can't, or could sit and watch, participate. I don't
was on
have
that
an
call.
alternative.
I was on that call with Mr. Gunn.
Really?
I try to tune in when I can.
My man. That's great. So they counted you? Are you an alternative?
Yeah, well, I was representative of the town. I don't know that we've appointed a formal alternate to the board with the departure of, I believe, Ms. Haynes was the alternate, Leah was the alternate at the time. So, it may be that, I'll coordinate with MPO and see if we can get a formal alternate appointed, whether it's one of you or a member of staff. I'll be
Yeah,
glad
I'm
to make
glad
those
you made it,
necessary
since I didn't
arrangements.
make it. Thank you. That's great.
Anyone else? The last thing I reckon, would be, how important the ball teams really are. At one time, it was the pride of our town, was the ball field out here, and the concession stand that we built. I know, I talked to several people concerning the old new Ranlo, and that was the one thing they regretted, losing the ball field. But I would like to, if we could possibly have ball teams this coming year, that would be a great thing. I think it helps, having adults work with children, letting the children know that, people are interested in them, and you know, it's a good opportunity to have fun with kids and be a kid again. So if we can, have those, that would be great.
Can I make a comment?
Certainly.
I love what you're saying, and I definitely would support that. But being that, I gotta get this chime in, as the only, African American on the board here, and this is Black History Month, but with me saying that, I would like to say that I am so proud of the town of Ranlo. When I came here, everything was, they're not gonna like you, they're racist, they're prejudiced, you can't this, you can't that. And as I have been here, I have seen so many walls, I'm not gonna say come down, but I have seen where diversity has been accepted and welcomed since I've been on this board. I had no intentions of ever serving any, I don't do politic thing, but it was the mayor, Steve Alexander, that gracefully took the time, and he said, I think you would be great it's time for change in Ranlo. I would love for you to run. Not only did he say it, but he came and picked me up one Saturday and showed me around Ranlo. He explained Ranlo to me. He talked about the water tank, and he took me down Redland Street. He talked about the neighborhood back there. He even told me about how they didn't have the fire hydrants. But he knew it was time for change, and it was going to happen. And I wanted to thank him for extending that to me. And he said, Robin, it's time. He even took me to his mother's house, and she welcomed me. And she said the same thing. It's time for change. There's some old farts that just need to die because I'm sick of their racism. We got to move past that. It's time for change in Ranlo. And I'm thankful in that I have seen change. When I went across the street and met Mr. Andre at the Kingsway, I looked around. I thought I was in the wrong store. How did you get back here? You know, I have seen change. I see Jason Green. He has been open to bringing diversity to public works, as in the fire station, as in, I'm sure, the police department. And it's not because of the color. It's we're just getting the best applicants. They just happen to be of color. And we want people to feel like I can apply for a job in Ranlo and not feel like I'll be discriminated against because of my color. So, hats off to Ranlo. I'm very proud of the change and the welcoming and the kindness. And people here generally care about each other. And we're proud of our time. Ranlo rattle, Ranlo rattle, Ranlo chatter is good because it's amazing to me how people go back and forth, but it all boils down to I care about my town. I care. So, for Black History Month, hats off to the town of Ranlo because change is here and we welcome it and we're comfortable in it. And I thank you all.
Boy, you sure have talked tonight, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I'm done, Effie, I'm done.
And Mr. Alexander.
For the year.
He took me and Effie around also. He's the one who got us into politics.
He did,
But
did.
he's a visionary. He saw, you know, he was speaking, you know what I'm saying?
But aren't you glad you're not the only minority on this board?
Yes, I am. I got Effie right here.
Yes, you have. They
Yeah.
put us on the same side. You notice that?
Yeah, but you know what I told you? We're gonna stick to it. I love my Lummi. My mother-in-law's a Lummi Indian. So, hey, you know.
So we're on item 14. I would entertain a motion to
They said
adjourn.
your motion.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you all.
All in
Thank you.
favor? So carried.
Thank you all.
I'll be quiet. Thank you all. Thank you so much for supporting that scholarship. I cannot wait to call the family. They're just gonna be so elated.